I wanted to start this video by asking a question. What makes a legend in hip-hop? Do they have so much influence that they create multiple new generations of music? Are they the first of their kind to do something unheard of and push the genre to new heights? Do they have a discography that stands the test of time, rivaling some of the greatest in their genres? Are they dead? Many things can turn you into a legend in this genre, but a question a lot of people have been asking recently is whether or not that makes you a good artist. For example, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is a legend. No one can deny that. No one can ever take that from him. Doggy Style is such an influential album that changed the landscape of West Coast hip-hop forever. But can you name another project from Snoop Dogg outside of that album? Maybe RNG because it has Drop It Like It's Hot. Maybe Missionary because it's the sequel to Doggy Style. But outside of those two albums, he doesn't really have anything nearly as iconic as Doggy Style. And I think that's okay. He clearly already made his mark in hip-hop and is just doing a bunch of side ventures now, and I think that's fine. Dude is in the Garfield movie. Bro made it in life. But look at someone like Nas. Yeah, he's strictly a hip-hop artist, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think his 2020s run with the King Disease and Magic series showed how truly amazing he is as an artist. In the span of 3 years, this man made 2 trilogies, and all of them are bangers. These are 2 legends in hip-hop. I don't think anyone's gonna take that away from them. But one artist feels like he's kind of already shown everything he can do and is now just coasting along, while the other artist is showing that he still has something to prove. Even after dropping classic after classic, he still wants to evolve his sound and show people he still has it after all of these years. If Nas stopped really caring about his sound after Illmatic, I don't think he will nearly be as talked about as he is today as one of the greatest hip-hop artists of our generation. Don't get me wrong, he still would be legendary, but I feel like he wouldn't nearly have such a connection with people as he does today. Hell, I'm Gen Z hip-hop, and I really love Nas as an artist. I checked out all the KD and Magic stuff as they were releasing, and checked out his original discography because of it. I don't have that same connection with Snoop Dogg, and I think that's what makes them so drastically different, yet interesting to examine. All of this is a really long way to say that Lil Wayne has been washed for years.
Hey, Peggy, let me talk to him one time. Hold up.
Now, when I say that, you probably want to shoot me dead. But please, let me explain myself real quick. Wayne is a great artist and a legend in hip-hop. No one can take that away from him. But I want you to genuinely ask yourself a question. When was the last good Wayne album? Carter 5 maybe, right? That was 6 years ago, and he's dropped 7 projects since then. I feel like the 2020s has been a really damn rough time for Wayne, and I don't really think anyone noticed or cared because he's Lil Wayne. He's just doing his thing now. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is, while I feel like Wayne is such a great artist, and I have nothing but respect to what he brought in hip-hop and the influence he has on multiple different genres, I also feel like that's kind of all he is right now. Not an incredible artist who's also a legend, but a legend in hip-hop who kind of makes mediocre music now. I feel like the one thing of note that Wayne has done this generation is have such an incredible feature run. Hot Wind Blows and Sticky, Just in Time, Saturday Morning, Back on the Road, and Sinister, You Only Live Twice, Annihilate. God damn! I'm sure there's tons of Wayne features I'm missing that has released this decade that are amazing. But at the end of the day, he's still an artist. His feature run, while impressive, can only take you so far. You know who else got good features? Lil Durk. Don't even try to pretend his music's good. Like, we're halfway through the decade now, and I feel like barely anyone talks about Wayne's new projects outside of the Carter 6, which we'll get into that. Like, what came out this decade? Funeral? No, that was fine. Trust Fund Babies? We can forget about that one. The Fix Before the 6? I forgot that one even came out. But that's why I always kind of saw him in the same league as like modern Eminem. Wayne doesn't really have the discography that matches status anymore. I'm not saying he's undeserving of it, but it feels like now he just doesn't have anything to prove anymore and just kind of coasting around. Genuinely, what this decade that Wayne has put out that you consider the best of the decade? Hell, people inspired by Wayne have better discographies than him right now. That's really because it feels like Wayne doesn't really take his career all that seriously. However, a set of albums that always show Wayne's best talents are the Carter album. It didn't matter if you didn't like any of his other stuff because the Carter series represents his best and well-written work, with the Carter 2 and the Carter 3 being two of his best albums to date. So it didn't matter if no one cared about Funeral, it didn't matter if anyone even listened to the Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz album, because the Carter albums always represented his best work. And when a 6th installment was announced, people were extremely excited. This quickly became one of the most anticipated albums for hip-hop fans all around the world. And while the warm-up album was not really that great, it didn't matter because the 6th was coming.
That was really bad.
I'm not really trenching new grounds with this one. The Carter 6 is a pretty disappointing album. Starting with the positives, I do think it starts decently. Welcome to the Carter is a great opener. Bells was pretty decent. Hip Hop is a great song. I love the hook on that thing. Cotton Candy has a really fun verse from Wayne and 2 Chainz. Really, the only big miss was Sharks, but even then, Sean killed his verse. Not a horrible start at all. Then Island Holiday came and cursed the rest of the album. Who told Wayne it was a good idea to do a Weezer cover? Who told him that? I really like Island in the Sun. It's one of my favorite Weezer songs. I got sad listening to this new cover because holy shit, it's so bad. I get how System of the Down fans feel now about listening to the Chop Suey cover by Uzi. Why? Look how they massacred my boy. Wayne does not fit this song. He sounds so out of place. This doesn't really fit the Carter series all that much. It feels like it would have been better for like a I Am Not a Human Being 3 or something. And it's not like the album got any better. Tracks 10 through 14 has to be one of the most grueling experiences I had to adore this year. And I played Mind's Eye, damn it. Loki's theme is really boring. By the time Wayne found his flow, I already checked out. If I Played My Guitar was really bad, like the singing on that song is awful. We don't need a Rebirth 2. Stop doing these songs. Peanuts to an Elephant is so laughably bad that it turns around to be an amazing track. Rory exist. It's just back-to-back bad songs, man. Where was the emotion that was on the Carter 5? Wayne, for the most part, feels like he lacks any sort of charisma. Like all his witty and clever writing was just replaced with really amateur and boring wordplay. It takes till track 16 to reach our next good track. And it's the last good one too! Who greenlighted this album? I need names! Alone in the Studio with My Gun means that MGK is a part of the Carter series, and that alone makes it the worst track of the album. This album is so disappointing, and the thing is, I feel like if this wasn't the Carter 6, no one would have cared. Again, Wayne has been releasing below average projects for a while now. If this was called Funeral 2 or I'm Not a Human Being 3, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't nearly hate this album as much as they do. But it's when you put the expectations of the Carter series on this album, people are going to be a lot more critical about it. This is such an iconic series in hip-hop, with the best of this series being one of the most acclaimed albums out there. It should have been better than whatever the hell this was. Instead, it was kind of just on the same level as Funeral, which is just any other average Wayne project. But that's not the Carter series. Carter 6 just kind of confirms what I've been feeling about Wayne's music for the past few years. He's fallen off. Wayne is a legend in hip-hop, and no one can take that away from him. But be honest with yourself, man. Look at this discography. Look at the past few years of albums that he's put out compared to someone like Nas. It's night and fucking day. The Carter 6 is a standard affair for Wayne, and that's the problem with his newer music. Nothing feels like he's pushing his sound or writing or really anything. It feels like he's throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall hoping something sticks, but it never does. I hope if we ever see a Carter 7, it brings back that energy that was in those original Carter albums. Or at the very least shows that he still got it. Bring back that emotional energy that was in the Carter 5. Or the clever yet brilliant wordplay that was in the Carter 3. Or the fun and kind of infectious energy that was in the Carter 4. Or that raw, pure energy that was in 1 and 2. I just hope we get a return to form in some way because I want to be wrong about Wayne. I really love him as an artist. Maybe it is better to just leave the Carter series in the past, start something new. Whatever is next, I hope it's better than what we got. How is everyone from Young Money washed? Subscribe, I got no bit today. Thank you for 200 subscribers. Okay, bye.